Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racers Room, round one. We have a GT3 Championship on the way. This is the first official green flag of what promises to be an intense and competitive season of GT3 Mini Endurance. The original plan was supposed to be a 1.5 hour solo mini endurance event, but we did do some testing last week. We were supposed to have hypercars in the championship, but we decided to go straight GT3 for this one. And the next season we will look into bringing in more cars. This is the first event of 5. We should have more drivers coming in by next week as well. We have a few missing because of their own personal reasons, but glad that we are back here. We're riding along board now with Jaden Harrison, currently on pole position by a few mere tenths, as a matter of fact. 2 minutes, .201 is his time. His countryman in Taj Edwards sits only, and quickly dismantled there. Jaden Harrison goes even quicker. Sub 2 minutes, the first driver, sub 2. Goes to the 159.835. It's about 9 tenths faster than Mr. Edwards behind him in that BMW GT3. So we have a few new names, for me at least, to this. We have Mr. Taj, well, not Taj Edwards, my apologies. We have, before I even go any further, we are in the midst of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So, we were in the middle of the driver briefing before, which is what took a little bit of our time to get into the action. But yeah, we are on the way right now, and very much so looking forward to the evening of racing that we have in front of us. We have 3 Jamaicans here this evening. We have 2 from South Africa. Well, 3 if you include Mr. Deploy. Mornay should be on track. Not seeing him right now, but he should be joining in sooner than later. We have Mr. Ian Lance and Julian Narcissus, 2 friends of ours from the GSRA and the Cayman Motoring Federation. We've seen them racing in the past. They're rapid drivers, so right now Ian sitting in P4. Look to see him improving sooner than later. He's actually one of those that has a lot of the times a better race pace than even a qualifying pace, so look out for him in the future. The setup is fixed as well, so nobody necessarily has an advantage, but we'll look and see what can happen today as the drivers go out and are on track. Tash Edwards does improve, goes 2 minutes at .412. And look forward to seeing what he can do. As you see right here, Julian Narcissus, and in the Mercedes-Benz is Declan Daniel of Trinidad and Tobago. These 2, I don't want to say they're racing. Yep, see Declan there backs off as they prepare to start a new lap. Coming around the final corner, and now it's full blast. Julian will start a new lap. That doesn't look like it was a hot lap either. Right along board with the only American. We should have about 3 or 4 Jamaican Americans in the series. Unfortunately, not many of them could make it this evening. Kurt Moss there goes P4 with a 2 minutes .774. So he is looking rapid. He's another one of those consistent, clean, and will throw a little bit of drama here for the drivers. He was leading in the Le Mans Ultimate Championship yesterday in the GSRA series until there was an incident with the software. He got 100-second penalty for no reason, no apparent reason at least. So we'll have to look into that to see what had happened. But that took him out of the GT3 classification and caused a DNF, unfortunately for him. So he is back here today to try and, I want to say redemption, but right now the Jamaicans are leading the 4. Jaden Harrison still improving. Well, no, did not improve, my apologies, but still takes pole position with a 159.835. We have roughly about 2.5 minutes remaining in this session. right along board now with Kevin Jyla, who is looking rapid and is in the Jamaican colours. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Maybe we can trick one or two persons. So the commentator, I am Stephen Stewart from the Jamaica Simulation Racing Association, and it's an absolute pleasure to ride along board. I actually wish I could be racing on board with these rapid drivers, but unfortunately I didn't make the cut, so I'm sat behind the driver's booth and I'll enjoy it from the background. So just a reminder, today we are kicking things off with a 60-minute mini endurance race featuring some of the most committed racers from around the community, all strapped into the finest GT3 machinery. We're seeing the Ford Mustang, the BMW GT3. Do we have any Ferraris out? No, we don't. We have the Acura. We have about 4 McLarens and 1 Mercedes. So we have 5 McLarens. Jaden Harrison on pole position is driving along board one of them as well. Minutes 19 by Tasha Edwards. He raced in our Formula 4 championship last year, and he was one of those drivers that we couldn't get enough of. He and Jaden Harrison and Ian Lance were 3 that would just battle it out every single race. That was a battle to watch every single time. So looking forward to seeing what can be done there, especially with Ian in a P8 at the moment. But we'll see him climbing the ranks. Right now, Jyla and Kurt Moss, Declan Daniel as well, separated by only 3 tenths between them. So will that be a battle? It looks like we have about a 3-way battle this afternoon. Wow, I am quite excited, if I do say so myself, to see what these drivers can do. We have Declan Daniel now, maybe listening to the stream and saying, if you think I'm out, I'll just throw a little bit of drama here. Declan, a good friend of ours as well, looking to work with him in the very near future. Has an awesome community over there in Trinidad and Tobago, the Calypso Racing CRC community. So I am looking forward to seeing what we can do to help and work with them in the very, very near future. And we have one more driver really out there, but Taj not improving, so this might just be his in-lap to head back in and close out his qualifying session. Beautiful livery, if I do say so myself. Being driven by the Jamaican, not many Jamaican colors, which is so rare nowadays. Because, you know, we are very prideful. But there you see him, did not look like he's improving and heads to the pits. 80 Nagel is the only other driver out there, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, Jaden Harrison leads on pole position with a 1:59.835. Taj Edwards is the next with a 2 minutes .119. The 2 Jamaicans capping out the front row. I should have an ability to show you guys the results, as a matter of fact. Trying to see if I can get that up real quickly. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a very fun evening of racing, if I do say so myself. I wonder if we have time to look at Jaden Harrison's fast lap. Maybe not. But yes, we do have the replay feature that we will definitely be using this evening. Looking forward to it, as a matter of fact, because we will be missing out a little bit of the the battles, especially at the start, but not too disappointing when you have the ability to watch back and see what had happened. So we will definitely be utilizing that feature as much as possible. And yes, so right now I should be seeing on your screen the top 10 from the practice results. Hoping that we can get the qualifying next. Yep, yes, here we go. And as we said, Jaden Harrison leads with a 159.835, followed by Taj Edwards. Declan Daniel is in P3. And why am I seeing it over? Hold on 1 second. Right, Declan Daniel is in P3. Kevin Gilo of France is in P4. Kurt Moss in P5. As well, Ati Nagel in P6. Andrew Marson of Calypso Racing Trinidad and Tobago again in P7. Hilton Nickerson in P8. Ian Lance in P9. Jared Milo in P10. Mornay Deploy in P11. And Julian Narcissus in P12. This is going to be quite an exciting afternoon of racing. Sorry, my apologies. As the grid will now be lining up for what is to come in the next few moments. We'll have the battle box up and running. Only a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have the drivers ready and raring to go. That is going to be one of my this is going to be one of my more preferred races, as a matter of fact. But as the session loads in, we should be getting racing in only a few moments time. We will have our rolling start starting in a few moments. You'll have the Porsche safety car there, drivers still loading in and preparing themselves for what is to come. There is no mandatory pit, as a matter of fact. However, with how the stint will be going, it is highly likely, unless they can do some really good fuel saving. Hopefully there's no safety cars. But yeah, it should be allowing well, drivers, unless they can manage their own fuel saving, will not be able to do a full race by themselves. So this is going to be fun to watch. We'll watch the formation lap right now as we go live and ready for the race. Drivers should be heading out now, as a matter of fact. Yep, they are. So just trying to get the cameras out. There we go. And just hearing the drivers preparing themselves to go racing. And they come around the final corner now. They will be going on a green light, as you see red there. And it sounds as if they've gone off. Yep, they definitely have now. Hopefully there wasn't any penalties there, but as you can see there, Jaden Harrison gets a brilliant start to pull away from Taj Edwards. Right now, Declan Daniel, Kevin Gilo, and Kurt Moss, all three of them fighting to see who can get through the pack cleanest. Declan Daniel does look like he's trying to make that move. Goes around the outside now, but that outside will not lend to the best line for him. Looks like he's trying to switch around now to see where he can get an advantage on the Frenchman in front of him. Kurt Moss just watching in front to see if he can get an opportunity to maybe slip in and gain an advantage here. Always in that neon green color. He lurks in the back. Driver number 823 watches and waits for his moment to pounce. Ian Lance himself has made up a few positions, as a matter of fact. And we will look back at the replay at the race start at some point. Jaden Harrison has brought a little bit of a gap to Taj Edwards, but not enough. Taj, is somebody very patient and will wait for his moment. as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. But right here, you'll see Kurt Moss as patient as possible. But right now, looking at Taj is so close already and waiting, looking for his moment to shine. So this is going to be fun to watch. Ian Lance in Rexy right behind the likes of Kurt Massive. In the front row though, Taj Edwards hasn't given up. 4 tenths a gap between the two. Continue to watch and see what they can do. Right now the gaps all throughout the field, very close. The Frenchman right there behind, just waiting on his moment to get back into the mix. Declan Daniel, the Calypso Racing racer, looks on the inside, not enough though. Kurt Moss is waiting, hoping maybe there will be something to work in his favor right there, but nope, not enough. Ian Lance has fallen back a little bit, but not too far. And Jamar San, the next Calypso Racing racer, right there in the background, waiting on his moment. Rene Deploy as well, the only NSX on the field, will be pushing to see if he can get through the field as quickly, but he is in the final points position as it stands in P10. We've seen him in the past. Rapid Driver will make his way through. Looking forward to see what he can do in the next few moments. Right now though, Kurt Moss sitting in the slipstream of Declan Daniel as they head to turn 1. My apologies, not turn 1. As they head to prepare for Maggots and Beckett's. Kurt Moss just sitting there waiting on his moment to shine. Jamaican, very strategic, very patient. His battle is what I'm definitely looking forward to this evening, as a matter of fact, because we've seen it in the past. There you have it. Jaden Harrison has pulled a gap of about 1.2 seconds. Taj looks like he may have made a mistake, because now Kevin is right there in the mix waiting on his moment. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up, fighting for P2 right now. All of them have the same or similar pace, so this could go either way, as a matter of fact. And this is where it can grow and lend to some very awesome racing. Right now, Kevin Gilo sits in the slipstream of Taj Edwards, waiting on a moment to pounce on the Jamaican in front of him. Not what he would have wanted, I'm sure, in Taj Edwards. Kurt Moss, though, again, just waiting on his moment to shine. Just waiting on his moment to just tackle the Trinidadian in front of him. Right now, Jaden Harrison just looking quite confident, just pulling away little by little. 1.7 seconds as a gap between himself and Taj Edwards. But when the pit stops start coming in, that's where it's going to start getting interesting. And when the strategy comes into play. In the meantime, we'll just continue to watch and monitor the battles between P5 and P2, then P9 and P8, and even P12 and 11. We did have an overtake there between Hilton Nicholson and Gian Gazo. That fight for P11 is on. So at some point we'll take a look when this battle starts to kind of calm down a little bit, but Right now, Kurt Moss just waiting, buying his time, looking for his opportunity to pounce on the Trinidadian in front of him. Declan Daniel knows where to put that car, knows how to put that car. Sees the neon green, hard to miss it. BMW GT3 behind him. Even hearing a little bit of lift Lyco right there. So is that his strategy? He was lifting into the corner, which put Kurt Moss right there onto the gearbox of that Mercedes-Benz. Kurt Moss just looking, waiting on his moment. This battle will continue for the foreseeable future. Right now, we'll take a look as well at Kevin Gilo, who is right there in the slipstream as well, right there in front of these two. And he's hunting down the Jamaican in Taj Edwards. Taj, again, another driver knows where to put that car to the best of his ability. We're up for a really awesome session of qualifying of defense here this evening. And offense, because you're seeing Kevin just looking and lurking, just making his presence being known to the Jamaican in front of him. Just remind him that, hey, just make one slip up and I'm gonna take that move. And the two are, I guess, I'm not sure if the fighting is causing Jaden to get away, but it's just looking like it's just pace at this point. Jaden is just pulling away now, 2.1 seconds. He was called for a ballast at the beginning of the race. So we may consider a success ballast for next week. I'm sure Jaden would not be liking that, but as time progresses, we continue to watch and see what can happen. As this battle continues, we'll just take a look at the back of the pack. It's taking a look at Jared Miller and Ati, the next South African. This is the next battle on track, so we'll continue to watch this and see what happens. While the racing takes a little bit... Ooh, hold up. This battle between Kevin and Taj Edwards looks like it's getting close, so saw the interval going down more and more, so I was wondering if there was an opportunity there. But yeah, while this battle continues, we'll just take a quick look at Jared Miller, who did pass Mornay Deploy 4P9 a few laps ago. Would love to see... Ooh, and there, the BMW careening in the background. That looks like it was... that was a little bit scary if I do say myself. But we will take a look at, I think that was Mr. Gayzo. Either him or Julian Narcissi, so we'll definitely take a look and see what had happened there. But that was a little bit... yeah, it was Gian Gayzo. So we'll check back at that while he's continuing there fighting. No, it wasn't. It was Julian Narcissus, I believe. Right, so we'll find out at some point in this race. I'll look through and see, but right now the gaps between P3 and P5 still about a second in between each other, as well as a fight between P9 and P7 continues as all the way up to P6, as a matter of fact, as Jared Miller sits in the slipstream of Ati Nagel. Ati right behind the other Trinidad driver, Ian Andrew Marson. Ian Lance leading this pack in the Rex-themed Porsche 911 GT3. Jaden Harrison there, continuing his show of dominance. Hopefully we don't get any commentators' curses this evening. That seems to happen a lot when it comes to me and Jaden Harrison. Ati Nagel though, looking like he has an opportunity. He's just sitting there in the slipstream of the Trinidad and Tobago driver in Andrew Marson, waiting for his moment. Just using up that slipstream as best as possible. Right behind him is American Driver. We have about 2 other, as you would know by the JSRA streams, Reese's Pieces. Mr. Reese Enzavino, one of our close friends here at the JSRA, should have been racing alongside his teammate Joshua Brady, but the two unable to make it this evening. But we'll be back for next week, as well as Mr. Miles Brown, who is registered, races in real life. Good friend of ours, was racing with us last week. Put up quite an attack against Jaden. But nonetheless, in that practice race, Jaden did come out victorious in the long run. We're noticing Kurt Moss there falling off a little bit. Is that strategy? We'll take a look in a moment's time, but right now not pushing too hard. Declan Daniel though is trying to close that gap between himself and Kevin Gila in front of him. So that's going to be something that we'll look forward to. He did lose one position. Kevin did gain one. So we know that Declan has the pace for it, but race pace and qualifying pace are two very different things. We know Declan is quick and rapid in the past. Hopefully we can see him pushing through here this evening to make another step in the right direction. And one more step forward on that podium. 1 second is the gap between himself and Kevin, the Frenchman, Gila. I'm actually hoping I am pronouncing the names correctly as well. And if there are any issues, please feel free to correct me in the chat. But I am looking forward to it. But right now, Ati Nagel is fighting for it with Andrew Marson. And we watch a replay to see exactly how he got it. But he finally makes a move on the Trinidadian driver. We'll take a look to see once these next few sequences go through. But that looks like it was all out of merit. Ati Nagel moves up to P7 on the grid. And that as well puts Mr. Marson under threat by Jared Miller, the American driver, just looking for his moment now to shine. Sits in the slipstream. McLaren on McLaren. Violence. It's a trio of McLarens, all different colors, all different teams, all looking for one more position ahead of themselves. But Andrew hasn't given up that position yet. He's looking rapid as he tries to regain that position from the likes of the South African in front of him, but at the same time has to defend against the American driver. This is a battle we'll watch for now to see what can happen. Let's see what Mr. Miller is seeing as he looks down the gearbox of that McLaren 720S GT3. Early lifting. So as that gap continues, let's just take a quick look at that pass between Ati and let's just rewind it quickly to see what had happened. But that just looks like Merritt got the slipstream, took the inside line, and just had the pace to overtake him in the long run. Awesome move there by Ati to move up into P7. Ian Lance. Ooh, saw him great out there for a second. Got a little bit nervous. But Ati now is on the hunt for the Jamaican in front of him. Ian Lance is in the pit stops. So he is the first driver in the pit lane. Maybe went light in the first stint. Maybe we'll try. He has about 44 minutes remaining in the stint or in the session. So we'll watch to see if his strategy will work out for him in the long run. But while that goes on, we'll continue to watch that battle with Jared Miller as he still hunts down the likes of Andrew Marson in front, the Trinidadian driver, and Ati Nagel, who sits now in P6. And there goes Jared Miller, just waiting on his moment to pounce 2/10 is the gap between himself. Takes a look on the inside now. Nowhere to go, but just again a reminder that hey, I am here as they come through the final sections of this track. They prepare to get another lap on the way. This is another overtaking opportunity, as you see him taking a look on the inside, but not enough. But again, just reminding the Trinidadian in front of him that, hey, I am here and I am ready as they come around now the final corner. Sits in the slipstream just waiting on his moment to shine. Silverstone is the birthplace of Formula 1, but GT3 cars also have their own history here too. Funny enough, the circuit hosted the very first round of the modern GT World Challenge, the Europe Sprint and the Endurance Cup. It's often seen as a proving ground for GT3 talent. It's one of the few FIA Grade 1 circuits where both prototypes and GT3s run side by side. Yet it's still one of the most physically demanding for GT drivers. It's one of our, well, I want to say, it's one of our favorite to watch. One of my favorite to watch. One of my favorite to drive. For some reason, it's just too flat. But boy, it does lend to some really awesome racing. It lends to some really awesome commentary as well, as you all should know, or Formula 1 fans should know, the infamous "through goes Hamilton." We've used that phrase quite a few times in the past, even in our own streams, just because the drivers just know where to put those cars, when they need to put those cars. Always lends to some really epic racing. Kevin, though, has found himself right there in the rear end of the gearbox of that BMW GT3 in front of him. 5/10 is the gap between himself, and we'll just take a quick look quickly. I look quickly at Jared Miller because that gap was going down as well, but that has found itself to stabilize a little bit. We'll continue to watch, but right now the likes of Taj Edwards 5 seconds behind Jaden Harrison. Jaden Harrison, we're gonna have to inspect his car after the race, but wow, at this point he is putting on a Max Verstappen-esque of a race here this afternoon. 1:59.803, so about 6/10 clear of the cars behind him. Declan Daniel did improve without 2:386, but still has a ways to go to catch back up to the Jamaican. The Jamaican is just looking rapid here this afternoon. Getting Jarlo hunting down the likes of Taj Edwards for the second step of the podium. Declan Daniel not too far behind. Kurt Moss as well in the BMW GT3, hunting. Normally used to the top step, has some work to do here this evening. Silverstone not lending to the best of help to him. And I'm noticing Gian Geyser did have a crash. We'll take a quick look at that while the race is on the go here in the BMW. So he's looking good, and it's coming out to the final corner. Just lost it, was still on the throttle it seems, and oof, into the pit wall he went. And there is the damage. You're seeing the front right wheel had to get a tow back to the pits, so unfortunate for him there. Still is racing though, got the car fixed, back out on track. So we'll watch and see what he can do in the next few moments. And as we speak of that, Ian Lance just left the pit lane. And noticing there's a crash there as well for him. So we'll take a look at that while this battle continues. But here goes Rexy. And I'm hoping Ian didn't just DNF. But goes on the curb. Goes a little bit too wide. Nope, perfect. Looks perfect. No, I'm not noticing any crash. It looks like maybe something just happened to cause him to just have to retire. Maybe something in real life. So sorry to see what happened there. But Ian Lance now the first DNF for this afternoon. And that is sad because we love to see Ian on track. One of the more seasoned drivers on the grid. Our good friends over at Cayman Federation. Cayman Motoring Federation, my apologies to CMF. So the battle continues. We're about 23 minutes in. About quarter of the race, and we've seen 1 and 2 pit stops, but they did seem a little bit early. Ian Lance being one of them. Now the first DNF for the race, so sorry to see him go, but we hopefully will see him again for next week. So while we have this moment to ourselves, matter of fact, before we even go there, let's just take a look at Andrew Marson, who is hunting down back for that position from Atty in front of him. Only 4 tenths between the two, 5 tenths quicker on that lap. Andrew seeing where he can gain back that position. But at the beginning of the race, after green flag racing, we saw Kevin pass Declan Daniel for P3. We'd love to see how that actually went, but we will just watch to see this as Andrew takes it outside. Atty just holds that inside line, lifts early, because he knows he can just park that car in a way that that Andrew just cannot get through. So again, this is where the skill of the drivers comes in, because they just know how to place their cars. They know how to, even a little bit of Lyco, to even defend. So it works for their strategy in defense, not necessarily in attack, because as you can see that the gap between himself and Kurt Moss is extending. Andrew will continue this hunt for that McLaren in front of him. And Jared Miller not too far behind either, only a second. So he's just hoping and waiting for any mistakes by the two in front. But yeah, while we watch the moves to come and unfold, we'll just take a quick look at Kevin's pass for P3 at the start of the race. And it was a trio. We'll rewind it a little bit just to make sure we get everything. But there you have it. Coming out of turn 1, he had that well, it was the outside line, turned into the inside line, forced the driver wide, and that worked in his favor, and he just had to concede the position. Kurt Moss himself was looking if he could have gotten a position, but my apologies, we'll just take a quick look now because I'm noticing some action here. Kurt Moss had entered the pit lane, so he is in the pits right now, topping up his gas. He's now, or should be leaving sooner than later. At the same time, Atty has also passed Jared Miller for P7, so wrong time to watch a replay, my apologies there, but we will watch back and see what's happening. We'll catch back up with any of the overtakes as the racing goes on, but right now Kurt Moss sits in P8, but that was a pit stop, so he has 33 minutes to manage for the next few moments. Kurt Moss crashed, as well as Jared Miller. Not sure what had happened there. Watching the replay to see. Looks as if he crashed into the wall. Trying to get a better view. And Kurt Moss has DNF'd. Not entirely sure what had happened there for Kurt Moss, but he just went into the wall. I'm not sure if it was a malfunction on his steering wheel, but we'll hear about it sooner than later, I'm sure. Jaden Harrison, our race leader, has entered into the pits as well, so we'll continue to watch and see where he comes out. Will he have some overtaking to do in the next few moments? Will this pit strategy work for him as well? But clearly this is a moment for the drivers to come in and get some gas or refueling. Such an unusual DNF though there for Mr. Massive, and we'll ride along board to see what had happened with him in a second. Before we even get there, let's just take a quick look at that overtake by Andrew Marson and Jared Miller. That fight was looking really good. That fight continues. It was this Ati pass on why am I not getting the yeah. It was an Ati pass on Andrew Marson for P6 at the time. Well, we will catch back up to that as well in a moment's time. But there we see Tash Edwards now heading into the pits, as well as Kevin Gilo and Declan Daniel. Jaden Harrison now is coming around. Had a about a 6-second gap, 6-second buffer. Now we'll be hunting to try and see where he can come out in front of the drivers who have just pitted. Had a very good gap. I'm sure it will work out for him in the long run. Taja Edwards, Declan Daniel, Kevin Gilo, Ati Nagel, Andrew Marson as well just entering into the pits. Jaden Harrison now coming to the final sequence of corners. You can hear the fans roaring in the background as he comes around the final corner. Taja Edwards still yet to drive out, nor has Declan Daniel. Declan now hearing driving out. Kevin as well and Taj. And Jaden Harrison looks like he will be losing out and will be coming up behind the pack, or the trio, the duo. We're right in the midst between Kevin and Declan. So that's going to lend to some very interesting racing. Maybe he knew he had a gap maybe Jaden Harrison went for tires, so maybe this will work out for him in the long run. Had the gap to just push as much as he wanted. So Jaden Harrison now is being is chasing the Frenchman and the Jamaican in front of him and being chased by Declan Daniel. This is going to lend to some really interesting racing in the second stint of this race. Jaden Harrison hunts down the likes of that green and yellow, black, green and gold Ford Mustang. That must be such an awkward moment for him to be hunting down. But this is going to be interesting to watch. We'll ride along board our previous race leader, Tash Edwards. I'm sure will be using this as his moment to get away from these rivals, but I'm assuming Jaden is the only one on fresh tires. Yes. So Jaden, as you can see that little blue bar right there, that means he's on his second stint with, well, I'll confirm in a second. But I believe Jaden is the only one right now. Yes, he is the only one right now on a new set of tires other than Mornay Deploy and Jared Miller. So the two in front and the one behind are not on fresh tires. Will this play a role in the win for Tash Edwards, sitting up there looking quite confident as well. Ooh, Jaden there, heavy on the brakes. Looking at the grip disparity now, they look even, but later down in the race is where we're going to be watching. Kevin will have some defense to go. And there you see Jaden, quick switcheroo, and there he goes to take it inside from the likes of the Frenchman. And there goes Jaden Harrison, 3 seconds behind Tash Edwards, but quick switcheroo there to take that move, flashing now. I know he knows that the highlights reel is on for him, but Declan Daniel now looking if he can get into the mix. Declan just waiting for his moment, saw an opportunity but not enough. The Frenchman now has to defend and attack at the same time. Is Jaden helping his, not countryman, but I mean we live relatively close, almost about 3 hours by flight. Kevin now in the Sandwich of the Caribbean GT3 sandwich. It's one McLaren and one Mercedes Benz. Kevin will have to run right now. What a move there by Jaden Harrison, and that looks like the highlight of the day so far. But we still have a lot of time to go. Mornay Deploy moves up into P7 as well. He's on fresh tires as well as Jared Miller. So they too we will continue to watch and ride along board with. There's Jaden flashing, just reminding Mr. Edwards, hey, here we come. Maybe saying don't fight with me, but just come with me. We can fight later down, but let's catch the Jamaican ahead. These are skillful drivers here. We'll ask him about it in the briefing, hopefully. But right now, that 2.9 second gap has fallen to 2.6. Jaden Harrison on the hunt now for Tash Edwards. Tash, rapid driver. 2 minutes 5, a tenth quicker is Jaden Harrison. Even with an overtaking move, that's going to be a little bit of a damper on the drivers in front of him or behind him. But still, this is the moment. Learn from him and let him pull you through. And you see in the back end of that McLaren just slipping a little bit. Driver mud showing that it can be held nonetheless. ladies and gentlemen, as we have a little bit of a time. Ooh, my apologies. Let's just take a quick look at Jared Miller. Alright, as we have a little bit of time here, let's just take a quick look at that move from Jaden Harrison, because again, it looked absolutely phenomenal. And we want to see it from the cockpit view as well. Jaden there just did a switcheroo last minute to just take that position. It's like taking candy from a baby. You see there, the move we did not expect. It looked like he was going and then just backs off the gas, takes the inside line, and there he went. What a move by the Jamaican driver. What a move. Looks simple. Was going outside and just did a little bit of a trick. Took back the inside and made his move stick. What a move by the Jamaican. He's now only a second off the likes of Taj Edwards, his countryman in front of him. Declan Daniel and his teammate Andrew Marson are in P4 and P5. Quite a disparity between them in the track time, but still, see what can happen in the next few moments. But right now, Jaden Harrison is closing in on the gearbox of Taj Edwards ahead of him. And this is going to be the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. While that battle continues to build up, Jared Miller on the gearbox of Mr. Mornay Deploy, leader of the Sim Racers room, a community of racers. These guys are talented, and boy, if I do say so myself, I am so excited for the next few rounds ahead of us. We have some good friends coming in next week, Cayman Eastman being one of them. Looking forward to seeing what he can do, as he will be coming in to make his debut here in the Sim Racers room championship. One of our drivers over at the JSRA, Rapid, from where he started to where he is today. Huge congratulations to him. But now Jaden Harrison sits in the slipstream of that BMW GT3. 2/10 is the gap. Let's ride along board to see what's happening. As he takes a look on the inside. Looked very close. Maybe too close for comfort. And just sitting there in the slipstream of that BMW. And the Taj we know can defend very well. With Jaden we know can attack very well. This is going to be the battle for first between the two. 2/10 is the gap. No need to rush it. 19 minutes remaining. And will this be a switcheroo? Nope. Taj just knows where to park that car, and there you see him. He knows what Jaden wants to do. Jaden just trying his best to see if he can force the move. But nothing happening there. There you see Jaden, just a master of the brakes. Knows how to slow it right enough to carry enough speed through the corners. There he is, just sitting in that slipstream, waiting on his moment to pounce. And this is a portion where you're going to want to see inside of the car as they head through Maggots and Beckett's. This is where you want to carry as much speed through without scrubbing too much. BMW looking very planted, but so is the McLaren. Quickly back on the throttle, sitting. This is an absolutely epic moment as he sits just waiting in the slipstream. Takes a look on the inside, and later on the brakes goes Jaden Harrison. And is that move done? And there's contact. between Jaden and the likes of Taj Edwards. Jaden concedes the position, but that brings Kevin Gilo right back in. And if you can look at the front of Jaden Harrison's car, that McLaren has damage. And now that two-way battle becomes 4. Declan Daniels sitting right behind, waiting on his moment. Kevin as well, waiting on where he can pounce. Taj Edwards as well, just waiting now. Gains back the position. Jaden Harrison sits in the background. Has to now defend an attack with damage to his car, but we've seen it in the past. That doesn't matter. As Kevin now will be watching and waiting. Jaden just wants to get in and get an advantage away from the likes of the Frenchman behind him. The Frenchman just sitting down waiting on his moment. The Trinidadian as well, just watching in the background, waiting on anybody to make a mistake. He has the pace. And he gets the best view of all of this. As he can just wait it out as he takes a look on the inside, but the door was shut by Kevin Gilo. And wow, what a race this has become. 17 minutes remaining. 16 minutes, my apologies on my mathematics. But right now, as I head through to the portion of Maggots and Beckett's, this is going to be very nip and tuck, because right now that dirty air is going to cause some understeer for some of these cars, especially the Frenchman in front and Jaden Harrison, who is just stuck in this sandwich right now, wants to get in front of the likes of Taj Edwards as quickly as possible, has the pressure tires to do it. But right now has damage to the front of his car. Will this be? This is where he made a mistake and the two came into one. Let's see what will happen now. As they continue this battle, you're seeing the space, the gap that closes between these guys as they head through here. There goes Jaden Harrison, I'm sure he's going to try to look on the inside. No, he won't have enough time. Goes on the outside instead. And there, hangs it around the outside. No, and Taj closes the door again. What defense by the Jamaican. Kevin Gilo now gets a better run, but that will kind of throw him off because he has to slow down. But there goes Declan Daniel now. And Declan on the run up to turn 1. This will be his moment to shine. He has the inside line, has to back out of it. Doesn't want to cause an incident. Declan Daniel still holds on for P4. Kevin Gilo in P3. Jaden Harrison in P2. Wowzers, what a battle this has become. Well, we continue to watch this battle. Mornay deploy as well. 5/10 down on Jared Miller in front of him. Just take a quick look and see if anything is happening from there. Nothing as yet. Jared Miller still able to hold him off. Declan Daniel as well, looking to see if he can make the move on the Frenchman in front of him. He's just there sitting down waiting on his moment. Jaden Harrison still unable to make the move. Declan though just sitting in that slipstream. Will he take a look on the inside? Yes, he will. Who is late on the brakes? The Trinidad driver has the inside line, gets back on the throttle. The two will go hand in hand, side by side, but the inside will become the outside. The outside will become the inside, heading into the corner after this. To the outside now, two of them side by side. Who will get in front here? And still, Kevin Gilo holds off to make sure he can manage and hold that position. Declan Daniel still on the battle to try and, at this point, try and catch and pass this driver in front of him. The Frenchman just putting that car exactly where he needs to in the best moments possible. Top speeds here right now. The likes of the South African with 255 kilometers. Continue to ride along board there. And I'm so sorry, but Jaden Harrison is sitting in the slipstream with 12 minutes remaining in this race. Jaden Harrison just not giving his countryman an inch here this evening, as he just sits down waiting on his moment to pounce. 1/10 behind the likes of Taj Edwards. Taj trying his best to hold him off. And Daniel as well, looking like he's trying to find himself into the final podium position as well. Still 12 minutes remaining. About 6 laps remaining at this point. Who will come victorious? Who will be the final podium sitter? The only time will tell, but at this point the battle is on, ladies and gentlemen, and anything can happen. We've seen it in the past. Drama, drama, drama. Personified in motorsports racing. Jaden Harrison there, going through maggots and beckers. You're seeing it on the front left of that car, that incident between himself, and there he goes, hitting the car. That sausage curb can damage your car, ladies and gentlemen. 6/10 gap between himself. Ooh, and I'm so sorry, but Declan Daniel again trying to see if he can make that move on the Frenchman in front of him. Still not enough. As this battle will continue. Mornay deploy as well on Jared Miller. We'll tune into that as soon as we see it drop. Right now, again, those gaps just won't. They're closed, but they just can't be fully shut. But wowzers, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the battle for third continues. 2/10 gap between the two. And this is the kind of racing you can expect here in the Sim Racers room, especially for the next 5 rounds. We had a little bit of action last week. We made some changes. Those changes look like they work out for the better. And now in round 1, with 10 minutes remaining, Taj Edwards leads from Jaden Harrison. Jaden was leading by 5 seconds before that pit stop. I believe took tires and nobody else did. Gained an advantage, caught back up to Taj, but then that fuel, that incident, my apologies. The front wing damage, not sure how much it's putting a damper on Jaden Harrison. We'll actually take a look at the high speed, the top speed right now as they go on to this short straight. Jaden is picking up more than Taj Edwards, so I guess it's not too bad. Again, though, that is with a slipstream, and he's only 1 kilometer faster, so he is still being inhibited by that little damage on the front wing. Still, we know Jaden Harrison doesn't need the top speed to pass. He would throw a move in the corners. So close, but so good on the brakes is Jaden Harrison as they come around. We have about 4 laps remaining. Let's say 5 with an extra minute. Jaden Harrison just buying his time, but still, Taj Edwards just knows where to put that car and just keep the driver behind him right there in his place. As you see there, Jaden just looking everywhere, sniffing the rear end of that BMW GT3 and just watching from the gearbox camera. That is how close this driver is to the likes of his countryman. Doesn't want another mistake, another incident. There you see him taking a look, had the look, and there he goes, side by side, the BMW and the McLaren. Enough space is given, but the outside becomes the inside. Jaden Harrison, that looks like netcode. And pain, suffering, and strife all in one. Jaden Harrison relegated now down to P4. That was netcode. Based on what we saw, at least, Taj Edwards holds the position and will continue. That's where the drama is in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a move, a fair move. But unfortunately, looks like the software got the better of him. Jaden relegated down 3 positions, or 2 positions. And Nigel Atty now still hunting down for P5. we'll continue to watch that as the next Trinidadian driver tries to hold off Jaden Harrison in the pits. Looks like this might be a DNF for him. Maybe too much damage to continue. And that is tears for the Jamaican driver. Declan Daniel there. Pushing, pushing, pushing. He is on the podium now. Still not enough. The three will be continuing this fight on for the next few moments. We have 7 minutes remaining, 6.5 to be exact. It's about 3 more laps of racing, ladies and gentlemen. As they're even coming up to a blue flag in Julian Narcisse. Jaden Harrison is back out on track. So luckily not a DNF. Had enough time to go in and out. Has the likes of 2 McLarens behind him, but enough space to finish off. 7 minutes, 6 minutes remaining. What a battle this has been, ladies and gentlemen. It's still not over. Taj Edwards still looking quite dominant here. Could hold off the likes of Jaden Harrison. Will he have enough in the tank to hold off the likes of Gilo? And Declan right behind him, the French and the Trinidadian. Right now, Atenagel still hunting down the likes of the Trinidadian driver in front of him. I had the brilliant opportunity this year to go and visit Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Trinidad. What an awesome country. I met one of the Calypso Racing drivers, Mr. Dominic Charles. Hoping to see him joining on sooner than later. Became good friends from that one visit. Rapid driver, and not just him, but just his whole community. Declan Daniel, Peter Arundel, Andrew Marson. That Calypso Racing community is definitely one that we over at the GSRA has to be careful with, as they can throw some really good pace here, as we've seen in the past. But right now, the Trinidadian driver being hunted by the South African. That battle will continue. We have about 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes 20 seconds to go. It's about 2 more laps of racing, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Harrison, heartbreak for him. But the battle for first continues. Right now, but this continues that battle on, and they look so good, man. It's just like a snake train as they head out to the final corner. As I head down now the Wellington straight into Brooklands and Luffield. We are rounding out to the final 2 minutes. So after this lap, should have one more lap after, if my calculations are correct. Actually, as a matter of fact, we might have about 2 more laps of racing, which will be good for the offensive, as we've seen that gap between Declan and Kevin closing down here in the last few moments. Still just not enough to make that move. Right, let's go through the Hamilton straight into Abbey. Down into Village. Goes through to head on to the Wellington straight there. What an evening of racing this has been, with about 20 seconds remaining. So this, I think this will be the last lap, as a matter of fact. The drivers are pushing. This may be the final moments to try and get a position away from these drivers. Declan Daniel, this is his last moment. At the same time, Kevin, even closer to Taj than Declan is to Kevin. So it was, as they go through Maggots and Beckett's to enter into the final sector of this race. They go down the hangar straight now. Push, says their race engineer. Will there be any late move or dramatics, or will we just be content with where we are right now? Trinidad driver there closes in slowly. Looks on the inside. Will he throw a move? Not close enough. The Jamaican in front. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, Taj Edwards will be the first to cross the line as they come through the final corner. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Taj Edwards, the Jamaican driver, takes P1 for round 1 of the Sim Racers Room GT3 Solo Endurance Championship. What a drive by him. Looked daunting at a point. The Frenchman in his debut here comes out in P2. Declan Daniel, after a valiant effort, comes out in P3. Jaden Harrison as well has crossed and finishes off in P4. The next Trinidadian driver in P5. Ati Nagel in P6, the South African. Next up is Mr. Miller in P7. Mornay Deploy being the next driver as he comes through the final corner here. And then Hilton Nickerson is the only other driver that needs to pass. Julian Narcisse was in front, so he got to pass and finish up. He finishes off in P10. Mornay Deploy in P8, and Hilton Nickerson, the next South African, finishes off and rounds the group off in P9. What an absolutely epic evening of racing, ladies and gentlemen. That was Checkered Flag. What an afternoon of racing it was. We will have interviews in a moment's time, so please stay tuned. Please stay tuned for what is to come. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll get the race results in a moment's time on your screen just to confirm everything. And there you go. Taj Edwards wins from Kevin Gilo. Declan Daniel in P3. Jaden Harrison looked like he was the one that was going to take this victory. But with that issue, looked like netcode on the stream. Comes out in P4. Andrew Marson in P5. Ati Nagel in P6. Jared Miller in P7. Mornay Deploy in P8. Hilton Nicholson in P9. Julian Narcisse rounds off the grid in P10. Guyon Nizo, Kurt Moss, and Ian Lance are the three that did not finish, unfortunately. Not sure what happened with them, but that was pain for some of them. But nonetheless, that was an epic showcase, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a quick interview session with some of the drivers, so please stay tuned. We'll just rally the troops. In the meantime, we'll run a little bit or a few of the highlights from this evening, starting with the race start. Jaden Harrison looked rapid, but even behind him, the driver was Declan Daniel. Ooh, and even it seems like there was an incident there with one of the drivers in the back. But we will stay tuned to watch that. But right now we'll have interviews with Taj Edwards, Declan Daniel, and Kevin in the next few moments. Please give me a minute to rally the troops. And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go with the interviews. We will actually have a word from the league organizer as well, so he will be playing a part in the interviews this evening. Excited to have him here, Mr. Mornay Deploy. But we unfortunately will not have Kevin here. He's saying his English is not the absolute best, unfortunately, so he won't be able to, really converse that much. But we will have Jaden Harrison, who finished in P4, give his side of the story and give us even a little bit of take from his event, as well as Taj Edwards next. Well, we will start with Taj because he has a short leash to get going, and then we'll get into the others. But right now we have both Mornay Deploy, the league organizer, as well as Taj Edwards in the chat. We'll just do a quick sound check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Well, again, huge congratulations to you, Taj. I would love to hear about your strategy. I'm guessing you didn't go for tires, and I want to hear from Jaden what he did to cause you guys to undercut him like that. But we'd love to hear the strategy, how it worked out for you, how it felt in the moment, as well as you were preparing to go racing with Jaden Harrison.
Thanks. First of all, apologies to Jaden. It was hard racing, but I felt like I was on the curb in the final contact there. Yeah, it would have been a good finish if he didn't lose out there, but still a great battle. Going into the race, the strategy was to do a one stop, but then when we got into the session, everybody could do a one stop pretty much because the fuel, you could refuel to the full amount at the pit stop. So I knew the pace in the Beamer wasn't great compared to the McLaren around here. So in the first stint, I just saved fuel. I think a couple others behind me saved as well. So we did the extra lap, pushed the last in lap into the pit, but then after I got out the pits, I took the minimal amount I could, just put it across the line as well. I was surprised when I saw Jaden behind the other two. I think he was like 3.5 seconds behind or something. So I'm not sure if he overfilled or if he took tires. But yeah, after I saw that, I knew he would eventually catch me because he was 4 tenths on average quicker. So I knew eventually once he got by Kevin, I think it was, he would eventually catch up, and I had to employ some Verstappen defense tactics, I guess, parking it on the apex so he didn't get the run. He really drove fair, to be honest, because I think a lot of guys there would have just dumped me, but he saw what I was doing. He was biding his time, and then he went for it on the end of Wellington Street. I tried to hold the inside, I was on the curb, and then the cars naturally go out to the left there, the GT cars, but the contact, we made contact even before then. So yeah, it was a sad way to see the race, well, our battle end like that, but yeah, overall it was a fun battle. I really had to defend for my life there, but hope the viewers enjoy the show.
I mean, I will say I enjoyed it myself. I know I'm not anywhere near in the talent pool as you guys, but boy, it made me feel like I could have been Lewis Hamilton in here and just throw a little bit of extra drama. Maybe just a yellow flag like in 2021, but that being said, man, congrats. It was an epic win nonetheless. Unfortunately, it did look a little bit like netcode, but it could be arguments all around. Nonetheless, it was an epic battle, and excited to see you guys fight it again for the next rounds to come. I think Jaden might be missing the next two, but we'll ask him when we get him inside here. But nonetheless, I know you have to go. Are there any final thoughts on the race?
Thanks again to Moore and Mornay for the organization, for you, Stephen, for the broadcast, and to my team, Around Race Team, Huffy Bicycles, our sponsors, Joel Real Timing, and all the viewers who tuned in. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next round.
Epic, man, and thank you for joining. Mornay, did you have any thoughts before you goes?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say congrats and thanks for joining, and you can get better from here. So hopefully next week we'll have better numbers, and yeah, man, congrats. You guys were fighting hard there.
All right, thank you. See you next race.
Absolutely. All right, Taj. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Taj Edwards won the race. Epic battle between himself, Jaden, even Kevin and Declan there. That four-way battle for P1 was interesting and very fun to watch. You can see watching right now on the replay. But right now we have Declan Daniel as well, who has had a battle here this evening. I'm sure can't wait to come off the computer and lay down a little bit after that battle with the Frenchman. But Declan, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Good day.
Man, congratulations first of all. Happy we can finally have some form of meeting, because I know you and I have been supposed to have a meeting for a while now.
Yeah, you keep avoiding me, man.
No love lost, bro. No.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I know how it goes.
But nonetheless, this afternoon's battle, especially with the Frenchman, any thoughts on it? It looked promising, especially it's like he just needed one more lap to try and make that move stick, but he just knew where to put that car, how to put the car. Any thoughts on it?
He did really well. I did have some opportunities, but I just didn't want to take the chance and end both our races, so I just decided on the side of discretion and just bided my time. Unfortunately, he never made a mistake. Well, a mistake big enough that I was confident enough to actually send it. But really well done. It was good racing throughout. No complaints.
And I will agree, because I saw moments where you could send a move, but I was so happy you didn't, because it was so nip and tuck.
Yeah.
And that just predicates to the skill level and the thought process of you as a driver. And looking forward to seeing you next week as well. Any thoughts as we head into the next round?
No, I just hope this level of racing continues. It was really good. You are part of a lot of open lobbies and iracing official series or events and whatever, and sometimes you forget that people actually think when racing instead of just like doing whatever, and it's all about rating and
Facts.
and yeah. So it's good to be part of something like this where people actually use their heads.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to the rest of the events. I'm not sure how many I could attend, but I will try to attend as many as I can. And Andrew as well, my teammate from CRC, he was in here as well, and we'll see how many more from CRC we could get on board.
Awesome, and looking forward to it, especially as we're heading to Daytona next week. And again, we are happy when we can kind of work together as a community and build some racing, especially in the Caribbean.
It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So we are still definitely looking forward to working with you. So we just need to make the time work. But nonetheless, man, congratulations. It was an epic showing here this evening. You're looking at fighting for the podium, and you got the podium. And I mean, again, just huge congratulations there. Morney, any thoughts?
I mean, I had the stream up next to me while I was racing, and all I could see was you guys battling it out at every corner. So I didn't even watch the stream fully, and I already know the racing was super close. And yeah, like you said, Declan, hopefully it continues, and hopefully you guys can join for as many of the races as possible. And like Stephen said, hopefully we can grow the sim racing community here in the Caribbean. And yeah, just look forward to good things in the future.
Yeah, so do I. We have the same goal.
Yeah, and congrats on the podium.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Declan, it's epic having you, bro, and looking forward to seeing more of you.
Same. Thanks.
Thank you too.
Take care.
Take care. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have Jaden Harrison, who started on pole position, looked rapid throughout the entirety of this race. Unfortunate incident, he ran into two incidents, both with Taj. Would love to hear his thoughts on that battle as well. It did, again, we'll look back at it in the post-race stewarding. But yeah, would love to hear his thoughts on it, and just his overall thoughts on the race.
Hello.
Jaden?
Good evening.
Can you hear you there, Jaden? Go ahead, man.
It was good. I think, I had pit, and then I lost time because I took tires, but then I had the pace advantage. by I think 1 second because new tires. But I could not pass Tajay, and he was just parking it on the corner. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. It wasn't really too much racing. Kind of got clear on turn 1 and just was
Building the gap.
away.
I mean, at one point, by the time he went into the pits, he had a 6-second gap, which leads to my next question. Was it a case where you decided to change for tires? Well, you just admitted to that, as a matter of fact. Well, yeah. Where did that strategy come in? Was it because of the time difference that you had?
Because the track was very hot, and it was Silverstone is very hard on the tires, so I thought that if I took tires, I would be much quicker, like over on average,
Yeah.
like 3 seconds or 1 lap, but be much faster overall. So if maybe something happened towards the end, I would be able to defend or an attack with an advantage.
Absolutely. And it looked like it could have worked because you caught back up to Taj so quickly. But even coming out to the pits a lap or two after, you did a switcheroo, as ladies and gentlemen can see on the stream right now in the replay. It was my overtake of the day. You were drifting to the right, to the outside, forced Kevin to go, and then you just did a quick switcheroo back onto the inside to take that position for P2. I'd love to hear your thoughts as that battle was going through, and even, you know, was it like unconscious, that move, or was it planned and deliberate?
Well, actually, in practice, I was doing some laps with Tommy Gore, which, you know, he's a real racing driver, so he was racing literally more aggressive than Tajay, that one, defending and attacking, and he pulled that move on me, and it kind of forced the driver on the outside to kind of keep the wheel straight, and they lose the run. So I'm like, you know, you taught me something there. I'm going to use that in the race.
Epic.
So kind of just, I was kind of putting passes there.
Well, that was my overtake of the day on Kevin. I'm praying that I was pronouncing his name correctly the whole race, but nonetheless, if I need correction, please correct me where I need. But Kevin Gilo, that move was absolutely epic on him, and again, my overtake of the day. I'm sure we can get some votes going, Mornay, but yeah, nonetheless, congratulations even on P4, and looking forward to seeing you return. I know you might be out for the next 2 weeks, but yeah, any final thoughts? And then Mornay, if you have any questions, please.
No, not really any questions. Just yeah, it was unfortunate for Jaden there. Obviously, like we said, we were gonna take the incident reports on board and have a look at incidents and live stream the stewarding. We'll discuss when we're going to be doing that. But yeah, man, you were blitzing in that race, and it's unfortunate that how it ended, but it was good racing, and hopefully you can make it for, you know, as many of the upcoming races as possible. Because I think you're going to be giving the other guys a lot to chase. But yeah.
I saw the incident, but I think like, for example, in the last corner, me and Tajay were like too wide, and like he kind of did the same thing, like cut in front and just slam on the brake. I think he could have done the same there, but I don't know. I guess he was just not used to being put in that situation. Didn't, you know, wasn't on his toes there, but yeah, that's how it is.
Well, as I agree, and we'll definitely be looking into you know, I know it's nothing intentional, it's just about us growing, but nonetheless, we will, you know, we'll look back at it in the post-race stewarding, and, you know, any decisions, I'm sure anybody can.
Will be fair, yeah.
Right. But still,
it was a good
sad.
race.
Yeah, it was sad to see it in the long run. It was an epic battle, even slight excitement when I saw you back there in P4 for a second there and had to fight through the pack, or P3, my apologies. And I had to fight back through the pack, and that move on Kevin was absolutely chef's kiss. And then that battle between yourself and Taj, again, it's sad that we saw it happen, but sometimes I guess that's just racing. It's in the moment, but you know, we look forward to the future, and as we always say over at the JSRA, looking forward to seeing you again in the next battle.
Yeah,
Yes.
congrats, Jaden. Just a quick one with I pulled Hilton in here as well, joining us from South Africa. I just wanted to get his thoughts on how his race went and just basically, yeah, what he thought of the racing, and hopefully we'll see him again next week. But Hilton, how was that, my man? How do you think your race went?
You know, quality could have been a little bit better. But again, I put myself up there. And on race start, unfortunately, in turn one, Ati just caught me out completely at the pace difference. We had to look at the replay afterwards, and you know, he apologized, but I mean, these things happen. Turn one, and then really, I think it was just before Magus and Beckett's we go on the old straight. Myself and again it was Ati, and then it was the BM behind him. Again, they just unfortunately caught me out. It was a bit of a difficult race for me because it just turned it into an hour sprint race. I'd lost the toe. I had no toe. I know I caught in the back of you at one point when I just kind of holding you, and yeah, I thought I would try and do the undercut, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I was actually watching that relative get closer and closer, like down to 1 second, down to 1 second, up to 2 seconds. But yeah, I think also you jumped in at the last minute, so hopefully with the 3 practice sessions during the week, because each race will have 3 practice sessions during the week before the main race on Saturdays, and hopefully you can join them with a bit more prep as well. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we can just get other battles going on track. I think I was battling with Jared for a while. We were back and forth. As long as we all, you know, in our own battles and things like that, and obviously have decent, clean races, it's all part of the fun. But hopefully it goes better next week for you, though. But I appreciate you and Ati and, you know, the South African boys joining. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week.
No, definitely. Again, thanks for obviously having us and arranging as we, you know, see that lining with the BM. Yeah, I think the first race of every season, there's always, especially when it's new guys, you haven't raced with each other. You know, some guys are quicker, some guys, you know, you learn who's quicker where. So
yeah,
unfortunately, yep.
Oh no, man. Well, thanks for joining in the interviews here, just to have a little bit of a chat. But Stephen, I'll hand it over to you, man, to close off the stream and just to say anything else that you want to.
Oh, well, first of all, Hilton, pleasure to meet you, brother. And again, I know you were thrown in at the last minute. I was supposed to actually accept your application, but I wasn't by the phone at the moment, so my apologies there. But nonetheless, excited to have you, man, and excited to see your pace. I saw you closing in quite a few times, so looking forward to seeing what you can do the next few weeks. And yeah, nonetheless, outside of that, Morney, thank you for the opportunity to watch this race. I was enjoying myself. I wish I could have been driving. I would have probably been fighting at the back to try and gain some experience from the drivers in front, but nonetheless it was absolutely epic to watch. I enjoyed every second of it, and I'm looking forward to Daytona next week. I wish I could have posted the calendar on the stream, but we'll get that for next week, ladies and gentlemen. But we do head to the Daytona circuit one what we are very much so fond of at the JSRA at least. So I know it should lend to some really good racing. So if you're still tuning in, we do ask you to leave a like and a subscribe and follow the Sim Racers Room on Instagram, Discord. All links can be found, and YouTube. All links can be found in the description of the YouTube channel. And yeah, it was an epic evening of racing, and I'm looking forward to more, a bigger grid, and you know, good racing. So if there's anything left to be said, you guys can say it now. And
Just a shout out to Sim Racers Room and to the live streaming and the time and everything that takes place. And yeah, encourage everyone to come jump in and come and have some fun. Thanks,
absolutely.
Monet.
Yeah, and just lastly again, thanks to obviously Hilton again. Thank you to all the drivers, and especially Stephen for doing the broadcast, because it is. I had a tough time looking for broadcasters, and he jumped in and said that he would do the broadcasting for us. So yeah. Big, massive respect, and yeah, looking forward to the rest of the championship.
Absolutely, and again, it's a huge pleasure to be here. I do believe that we as a community can grow this thing even bigger than it already is, especially in the Caribbean. So if we're all willing to work together, I don't see why we can't, you know, succeed in that and really bring this level of racing, not just from the Caribbean, but, you know, tie everybody in together. So that being said, I've had an absolutely epic evening of racing. I'm sure you guys have it as well. And I'm looking forward to next week, and we will speak soon. It's been my absolute pleasure bringing you this racing, and we will see you guys again soon next week as we enter into Daytona for round 2 of the Sim Racers Room GT3 Championship.